Did you feel it? Welcome to Curious Conversations with myself, Abigail. A place to ponder and rekindle a little bit of awe within ourselves and life. And today I want to talk about the summer solstice. I know we've gone past it, but this year was the first year that I've actually taken the time to properly celebrate it. Me and the fam and another family went and wild camped on Dartmoor, and we cooked our dinner on this tour. We watched the sun set. We played hide and seek until the stars came out. And then in the morning I woke. I just missed the sunrise by about 10 minutes, but I managed to sit back on that rock. And I sat there and celebrated. I celebrated everyone that I loved and a few people that I didn't. I celebrated my home, my work. I celebrated so many things that made me realise, wow, look how much I have. Look what I have created. Look what I have supported. Look where I am in life. Look, feel, digest, understand, appreciate. Wow. And let me tell you, the shift that has created in myself has been phenomenal in terms of now appreciating where I am in time and space. Because prior to that solstice, we was in the active doing part of summer, late spring. I mean, spring really is summer in action, in full blown firebomb action. Whereas now we are in that more receiving part of summer, because we are actually heading towards harvest, right? And the nights are very gradually going to start getting shorter. But before we get all doomy and gloomy about it, we are in the receiving part of summer. And right now in the UK, it's so hot, all you can do is go slow, right? And this is what summer is all about. When I look at rhythms and my menstrual cycle, learning about my menstrual cycle on all of the different levels, from that scientific perspective of menstrual follicular ovulation and luteal, and also the emotional aspect of inner winter menstrual, inner spring follicular, inner summer ovulation, and inner autumn luteal. It has encouraged me and reminded me of how powerful these seasonal and sometimes seismic changes can impact the way that I speak, the way that I move, the way that I eat, the way that I feel. And there is a lot of biology of cyclical living found outside and inside. And I find that so wonderful to live by, because as a creative person myself, having this opportunity to express myself in various ways allows me to know myself on a great level. I promise I'm not sitting in a fly sanctuary, but as I said, it's so hot. And the flies obviously want to listen to me talk, so let them listen. But I do apologise if you can hear them. Anyway, moving back into the summer. Celebration. Celebration isn't just about having the party. It's about process and moving forwards and allowing ourselves to just be in that moment. We work so hard, don't we? I see this, especially in the UK. We get our heads down. We are heads down. Winter is rough, especially this year, living in Devon. It was biblical, wasn't it? We had 40 days and 40 nights of constant rain. You are head down, working, and then you're home and you are hibernating. And sometimes when we don't have ritual to break that habit, we just keep on striving, doing. And I see this so often in summer when we look at the way that we work, we still keep pushing because we're trying to reach that next goal without realizing that we've probably already achieved an aspect of it. We've probably already done what we needed to do, but that nervous system is so finely tuned towards success, towards doing, towards calls to action. Like we are so stimulated by it, aren't we? And that stimulation is set so high, we need that constant call to action. But this is where the art of celebration as a ritual helps to break that. It allows us to shift from the active to the receiving. But my question is what is your relationship like to summer? Because again, having the opportunity to work with wonderful women, especially in areas of business, some women don't like summer. Some women do not like summer. Some people do not like summer. It's not their time. They love the autumn. They love the autumn. And you'll find that that's because it's all about refinement and reflection and the finer detail. Whereas summer is a time to celebrate yourself, celebrate everything you've done. And a lot of people find that difficult, right? How are you accepting a compliment when someone celebrates you? Because the way you do anything is the way you do everything, right? So that can feel quite hard to do, but not impossible. Not impossible, especially when you place yourself in the right environment. And this is something that I have learned so wonderfully throughout my 44 years on this planet, is that a lot of the time when we experience a symptom or a reaction, we blame ourselves. Something needs to be fixed within us. But actually, we want to take a good look around at our environment. And we begin to see that this environment is not allowing me to be me. It's not allowing me to celebrate me. There is no opportunity to celebrate because it is all about constant creating and money and revenue and do. But if we are constantly doing that, and again, something that I've learned so powerfully, and a big shout out to Abraham Hicks with the wisdom from their wise words, is that when you are in constant doing mode, you offer that energy out to the world. And that can sometimes show up as you not needing any help whatsoever. It can also show up as being quite defensive. And so when you are constantly doing, you can't be receiving. When you're defending, and this is something that I've learned within the area of trauma healing, when you are constantly defending, you can never be supported because you just can't receive that. So if you are constantly doing and you are striving for a goal and you never take a moment to celebrate and reflect, you end up pushing what you want away. And then we complete that fulfilling cycle that nothing ever works for me. Life never works out. But it's not really the case. It's how we are expressing the habits that flow beneath our skin. So when it comes to celebration, we see how it brings people together. And when we look at business, how wonderful this allows teams to forge greater relationships simply by celebrating how far they've come in the year. It allows them to fine-tune the way they communicate and relate. And when we move in cycle, we see that nothing lasts forever, the bad points as well as the good points, and that we have choice and opportunity to transform. Now, on a personal level, the benefits of this for your health are phenomenal, because when we are in summer, your systems change. It is easier to be healthy if we allow it. If we allow it. Are you, we, I, us, are we allowing ourselves to be well? Or do we believe that we need to fix ourselves? Because that makes it harder to celebrate as well, doesn't it? And I come into the cycle for women. The menstrual cycle is an amazing opportunity to celebrate yourself at ovulation, which is your summertime, which is your peak potential. And this is a reflection of the circadian rhythm at 12 p.m. on each day, which we know men resonate with on a greater level than women. And then we see that resonates with the full moon, because it's all 100% illumination, full potential. And we realise at this point that there's nothing actually that we need to do. And this is, again, what the cycle has taught me. And I love this. When you look at ovulation and menstruation, when you look at midday and coming into the evening, when you look at the full moon and the new moon, you see that these are so powerful. There's not much that you have to do there. It's either side of that the work is put in, that it requires more of you. And when you give that your full attention, when you land at these points, these become so much more easier. But again, there's trigger points everywhere, right? So those that get triggered at ovulation, what is the call-in? We look at symptoms, don't we, as faults that need to be fixed. But what if we could look at them as invitations, as call-ins? And I know a lot of them can be quite painful. I have seen my ovulation experience change from me being very robust, not even realising that ovulation occurs and smashing my way through, to now acknowledging that if I do too much, especially physically, I'm left with very little in the tank. And this has huge implications on the way that I work and the way that I show up within my family. And my children are, my main priority. And being part of that with my husband is of the utmost importance to me. Which brings me into that family element. And summertime is, whatever shape your family looks like, it's time for you to gather together in whatever way you can. And if that is before school and work, with games and conversation and a lovely breakfast, and then after school and work in the park, in the garden, just being together. I have realised, a lot of realisations have occurred in my life, as you can tell, but that's because the vulnerability, I have no fear within vulnerability, and taking a really deep look at myself and acknowledging what can I do to make the life that I want, because I know that I can, and I know that you can. And this summertime with family and friends, Isn't it so important? However you show up and be you and be your wonderful self and enjoy it, because that is all part of the celebration, right? Summer solstice, Litha, it really is a turning point for us to acknowledge the wonder in life. You know, when you look out at nature, can you see the abundance? It is bursting with life, and that life flows through you, again, if you allow it. And when we choose to celebrate it, how that shifts the way we respond. So it's not too late, never too late in my world, for you to celebrate where you are in life right now. Where you are, as you are, who you are, celebrate it. Celebrate everyone that means something to you, and perhaps celebrate those that don't mean anything to you anymore. Because then we can move forwards. Then we can grow without forcing or fighting. Because we don't need to do that anymore. It's not necessary, not really. Well, my darlings, thank you for tuning in and listening. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear back from you. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you celebrated summer solstice and how you celebrated and how are you feeling for the rest of the year. And so it is, my darling humans. Much love.